Brother and lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. We are back again this afternoon with another Arsenal episode. I want to thank everybody, by the way, who entered the month with me. It was really fascinating. I mean, entering the new month, we are into November. We are just 1 month away now from 1 month away from the end of the year. It's been such a great year for me, very great. I hope it's a great year to all of you, and of course we hope that next year becomes even a better year. But in this episode, we're gonna speak Antonio Conte. We are also going to speak about Stan Kroenke's position, and probably could that give us an opportunity to go for a potential Arsenal takeover, because he owns a couple of projects. We know that, under KSE, he has a couple of projects, especially, football and, sports projects. But there is one that could, affect his finances way too much. And probably that is where the talk is coming on, that maybe the likes of Daniel Ek, the likes of the Qatar, the likes of, I don't think Dangote is still a contender to buy Arsenal, but that is where the talk is being derived from, that maybe Arsenal could be taken over by someone if Stan Kroenke actually has to face the legal, I don't know, how should I call them, implications of his team, the Rams, and how it was moved from one city to another, in America. So we're gonna discuss that, but I also want to talk about Antonio Conte as well, because for me, Conte going to Tottenham is something that then doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if I don't know, but Conte going to Tottenham, it doesn't make sense to say that Conte rejected Arsenal. Look, if he had gone to Manchester United, if he had gone to Chelsea or where, look, Liverpool, but Conte going to Tottenham, and then we are convinced that he rejected Arsenal, or I think he was there for the taking, and I think we just missed a very big opportunity. We'll dive into the transfer news as well. Luka Jovic again has resurfaced as one of those players that Arsenal are keeping close tabs with. In January, they want a loan deal, and Real Madrid are saying if Arsenal are taking him in January, we should be looking at 25 million quid as in obligations to buy in the summer. Is it the kind of striker that we would want to take down at the Emirates Stadium? That and more is gonna come up in this show. So make sure you smash a like on the video, and make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Thanks everybody who has always done that, because it really helps an independent creator grow day in, day out. Right. So let us start off with with Stan Kroenke and the Arsenal takeover. Now, this was written by the ESPN. I looked at this story and I thought I would share it. So what they are saying is that Los Angeles Rams owner Stan Kroenke angers NFL owners with financial pivot related to lawsuit on the St. Louis move, sources say. I'm just going to read you one or two paragraphs and then tell you what this is all about. So they're saying Los Angeles owner Stan Kroenke might have been trying to back away from his promise to cover tens of millions of dollars in legal expenses related to his team's 2016 departure from St. Louis, a revelation that angered many NFL owners when they learned it on Tuesday, sources told the ESPN. The legal update from NFL General Counsel Jeff Pash during the owners' first in-person meeting since December 2019 stunned many in the room, according to accounts from people who were there and others briefed on the proceedings. The league, through a spokesperson, declined comment on Wednesday. A Rams spokesperson also declined to comment. The Rams and other owners embroiled a fierce 4-year lawsuit from the St. Louis Regional Convention and Spokes Complex Authority, which urges that the league broke its own relocation guidelines, misled the public on its plans to leave the city, and cost the city millions in revenue. So what is happening here is, we've spoken about this before. I think it was just after the transfer window. I think it was just after the transfer window, and it was the period when the the Qatar takeover was, at the boom on the rise. And I remember saying that it's gonna take something very, very special for Stan Kroenke to sell Arsenal, because it is an enterprise where he really, really invests very little, if there is any investment at all at the moment. He puts in very little. For example, the 156 million pounds he gave us to spend in the summer, that is just a tip of the iceberg. It's just too little, very little of what he could actually give us, in terms of our owner, give us. So what is happening now is Stan Kroenke will need some cash if he's gonna go through these lawsuits, and if he loses them, because the suit is that his team, the Rams, actually broke the relocation rules. Look, I don't know much about the relocation rules, in American football and things like that. So I really cannot, prove to be an expert in relocation rules or something. But the city, at least what we know is that the city has sued Kroenke and has also sued the league. And what is happening is that the league is saying this is all on Stan Kroenke. He's got to pay. He's got to cover. And Kroenke earlier, he did pledge. He made an earlier commitment that he would cover all. He would cover all the costs of the lawsuit, of the relocation, of the relocation lawsuits, if any. And now he wants to back out. The reason is why, of course, it's unreliable. We know that he's very, very unreliable. But the reason he wants to back out, he knows he's gonna lose millions and millions of money. And look, for me, this is a point where, if I were Daniel Ek, this is a point where I know Stan Kroenke is under pressure. Stan Kroenke needs some money. He doesn't care about Arsenal, does he? He doesn't really care about Arsenal. The fact that he's brought in a bunch of kids, around 6-7 kids, to try to tell the fans that, look, this is the reason as to why we are here. For me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I would rather have a very, very different owner. So look, my big question now is, does that leave Arsenal as an open enterprise? Does it leave Arsenal as an open opportunity for a takeover? The fact that Newcastle have been taken over by a Saudi Arabian consortium means a lot. Also means a lot, because I don't think the Premier League are just going to be up for takeovers. I don't think. I don't think they're just going to say, if it is the Saudis, if it is the the Qatar trying to take over, it might be even harder than we expect. But if it is Daniel Ek, based on the fact that Ek is European and things like that, look, this is not me trying to be anything disgusting. But look, Saudi Arabia taking over Newcastle, it's going to be very, very big risk, and one that the English Football League is not going to take, to give Arsenal to Qatar. I don't think they're willing to take that risk. I don't think they're willing to take that risk. So, what, in my opinion, what I think they will do, and I think they will do this, is if Kroenke runs bankrupt, Daniel Ek will take over. I think he will be the next person in line. I think he's the next person in line. I think Premier League teams will try to do anything possible to stop another heavy money power. It's happened with Newcastle. They wanted to stop it. They have started sitting in meetings to stop Newcastle's money and things like that. And I think it's something that would happen with Arsenal. If we wanted the Qatars to take over, they would stop it. They would stop it, because you can't imagine City, Newcastle, then Arsenal, all being owned by consortiums from different countries. It would be so scary to the league. So I think they would stop it. But in light of Daniel Ek, this is the perfect opportunity. And I'm one of those people who personally believe that if Kroenke loses this suitcase, this lawsuit. I said suitcase. If Kroenke loses this lawsuit, and he has to give up millions and millions of money, probably he might look at liquidifying some of his. He might look at liquidifying some of his assets, and I think, look, Arsenal is one of the assets Stan has. We know that if there is an asset that Stan Kroenke has, and he believes, it is one of his very, very important assets, it is Arsenal Football Club. So I think if he's looking to liquidify Arsenal Football Club because of the difficult situation in which he finds himself in, you never know. We could just get away with that. Arsenal taken over by whoever Daniel Ek. I would love Daniel Ek to take over. I know he has less money compared to the Qatars, but I don't think we need this, explosive amount of money. For me, I don't think we need the explosive amount of money to compete. I think what we need is an owner who is ready to invest in us, not really explosively, but at least give us 70 million per summer. That's what I'm looking at. Or give us 60 million per summer. If we can get in at least a 45 million player per summer, and then another 15 million player, I think that really makes a lot of sense. And I think that's what the Kroenkes have failed to do. They want to take all the money to their side. What they do is they come with this, big basket and collect all the money and take it to their side. And that is where they've been ridiculous for me. That is where they've been absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. And it has reached a time when now, whenever they throw in the basket, there is nothing they can take away. Whenever they throw in, the net, they're not getting enough dividends, and they're like, okay, so we have to throw in some worms. We have to throw in some fish food, maybe to make the fish grow bigger, so that they don't actually go through the holes in the net. So my assumption with the Arsenal takeover is it's not this year. We know that. We have only less than 60 days to the end of the year, so it's not this year. And the assumption that I have is, if Stan Kroenke loses the case, he might consider selling Arsenal, and that is where the likes of Daniel Ek and whoever wants to buy Arsenal. That's where you've got to be very alert. That's where you've got to be very, very, very alert, because if this opportunity passes, we are gone. So keep eyes on that one. Keep eyes on that one. I think it's gonna be interesting. It will be very, very interesting to see how that unfolds. I think the lawsuit will be had in January. I think it will be January next year. I hope Kroenke loses that case. I just hope Kroenke loses that case, because for me, he's not an Arsenal fanatic. He doesn't want to be. He wants to be an Arsenal. He wants to be an Arsenal. Owner, because it gives him money. But he doesn't want to be a part of that. The Arsenal. He doesn't want to be a part. And if he loses that case, and as the only way we are gonna push him out, very, very, very ruthless of me, I'm gonna ask for him to lose the case. Honestly, I will ask for him to lose the case. But anyway, I think Arsenal takeover only happens. It only happens if he loses that case. That is one of the opportunities we have. Because look, if you are in financial trouble, the first things you would sell are things that, yes, do not really matter to you. Things that really do not have your attention. I think Arsenal does not have the attention of Stan Kroenke. Maybe if he decides that, if he decides to take out money, because it's two-way. If he loses the court case, he would. If he loses that lawsuit way back in America, he might decide to sell, which is what we want. But he might also decide that every year he's gonna take away 100 million from Arsenal Football Club, without investing back. And we know, ridiculously true, he's done it before. He's been taking out money without giving us money, right? So if he decides to do that, then it is absolute disaster. If he decides to sell, why not? I think it would be the best thing to do. But anyway, away from the Arsenal takeover, let's talk about Antonio Conte and how he ended up in London, but at Spurs. Ridiculous, isn't it? Really, really, really ridiculous. And it's one of the things I've always said, and one of the things I've always talked about. Just a moment, right? It's one of the things I've always talked about as as an Arsenal fan. When when we lost 3 games in a row, that should have been the end of Mikel Arteta. It wasn't. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but hopefully it's a good thing. So, we didn't sack Mikel. And in that period, we're linked with a couple of managers. Antonio Conte was one of them. Conte has signed for Spurs. Conte, I'm going to say this again. Antonio Conte has signed for Spurs. How the hell do you explain that? How the hell do you explain that? And look, I won't be even very surprised if Spurs finish above Arsenal. I won't be really surprised. I won't be surprised if Spurs finish above Arsenal, because they brought in a manager that they know is so demanding, a manager that they know has the pedigree and has the ability, and he's got the authority to speak the likes of Hurricane, the likes of Son, and the likes of Hugo Lloris. I think that's what Nuno didn't have. I think Nuno did. Yes, he's been at Wolves. He's a senior manager, but he lacked the credit in the bank to take this Spurs, team forward. And also, Spurs is really tired. The players are really tired and things like that. So I think Conte is the best manager they could ever get. Look, that is going to ask, Danny Levy to spend. He's going to ask Danny Levy to be serious, and that is what you want as a club. But I'm starting to doubt the fact that Conte rejected Arsenal. I'm really starting to doubt, because if you look at the two sides, Conte is not coming to Spurs to win the title. He's been given 18 months. Does he win the title in 18 months? How much money are they going to invest in 18 months to convince me that they're going to win the title? I don't think he wins them the title in 18 months. He doesn't, does he? He doesn't. So I think Conte was there for the taking, and we didn't. It's an embarrassment. Look, Mikel could have turned the corner, and I'm one of those people who are really happy for him that he's turned the corner as a manager. He's not going to lose his job and things like that. And it's very, very human of me. But Conte is a manager that would definitely guarantee us top 6 this season. He would definitely do that. In January, I know he would ask for 1 or 2 players. We would have to give him 2 players. In the summer, probably ask for 2 more players or 3 more players. But with the squad we have and the squad that Tottenham have, there is no way that you are going to convince me, or anyone is going to convince me, that he said no to Arsenal and yes to Spurs. No way. I think we have a better squad right now. They have a Hurricane, they have Heung-min Son, and Hugo Lloris, maybe Christian Romero. They have only 4 players in there that I think, maybe, and Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg, around 4 or 5 players that I think a manager can start with. It's so different with Arsenal. We have around 9 players that a manager can start with. Actually, not start with, but we have 9 players that can form the foundation of any structure. Conte knows he's not going to buy 7 players in January. He's not going to buy 10. Spurs is never going to give him 10 players in the summer. So that means he came to Spurs knowing the implications of that move. He signed for 18 months. Whether he's going to resign, because we know he can resign in the first month, or in the second month of the contract. But trust me, there is something. There is a reason as to why he went to Spurs. And if Arsenal had done enough, probably if you had told him that in the summer we're going to give him another 100 million to spend, probably we had a chance. Probably we could have stood a chance. So look, but now he's a Spurs manager, and that is a big threat to Arsenal. Very, very big threat to Arsenal. Because in London, West Ham are above us. Chelsea are table leaders. We are only 2 points ahead of Tottenham Hotspur. So that means if Conte gets Spurs moving and West Ham keep their form, I don't think we will beat Chelsea to a higher position. We are going to finish. We're going to be the underdogs. Going to be absolute underdogs in London. And that is something I do not want to see. That's something that I hate to hear of. Arsenal are the underdogs of London. And it's going to happen. If Danny Levy, at some point in time, thinks, I've got to spend. If he starts thinking of spending, that's where the big problem is going to be. If he starts thinking of spending, if he starts speaking speaking the money language, Arsenal is in deep trouble. Chris says hi, Cossy. Good morning. How are you doing? Amon says good afternoon to you. How are you doing, Amon? Hi, Cossy. That's according to Yosam. Charles says thanks for the analysis, Cossy. I genuinely like your shows. Thank you so much, bro. Stan won't lose the case. He bought Arsenal, put them into the Super League. That will happen. I mean, Cossy, it will be really. It's been really missed every podcast to a month almost. Sorry for that, Chris. What of Lucas Moura? Yeah, look, I think Moura is also a good player. I think Moura is also a good player. But look, is Conte going to use all these players, or is he going to ship them out? I think he's going to ship them out, right? I think he's going to ship them out. I think he'll ship out. I think Harry Kane will leave. I think Harry Kane will leave Spurs. I think maybe the likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, those ones will stay. The likes of Son, those will stay. But I think Ken will leave. And Moura is also a very, very good player. Now, someone asked me someone has asked me a question here. That what did you ask? What did you ask? Oh, you said about the Super League and things like that. Look, I don't think the Super League. This is surprising. I don't think the Super League is still on. By the way, if anyone did know, the Super League is still on very, very much. Very, very much. So the Super League is still on. But at the moment, it's a little bit docile. At the moment, it's a little bit, not really threatening. But look, I don't think we're going to have a Super League. I don't think we're going to have a Super League. It's highly probable. It's highly probable that we can have it because now with Newcastle having a country taking over them, you have City, who are also run by a superpower. Then you have the likes of United. Look, a Super League can happen. By the way, a Super League can happen because it is legal. It is legal, and we all know that it was stopped because of the threats that UEFA and the Premier League, and the FA and all these other footballing associations in across countries put on these teams. Apart from that, the Super League would have happened, right? So, if it takes us to the Super League, if Kroenke wants to take us to the Super League, we are done for. We are done because for me, I told you in the Super League. You have Bayern, you have Barcelona, you have PSG, you have United, you have Spurs, you have Chelsea. We are going to be underdogs every year. We're going to be the QPR of the Super League. We're going to be the Sunderland of the Super League. It's one thing I don't want to even imagine. How can you tell me Arsenal walk into the Super League and they're day-to-day they're day-to-day underdogs? I don't want to listen to that. But he has a couple of options. As Stan Kroenke, he has a couple of options. One, develop Arsenal into a formidable brand. Because for me, if he develops us, and this is what I don't understand, if he develops Arsenal, if Stan Kroenke decides to develop Arsenal, he gets money. He gets a lot of profit. If he invests another 150 million in that team, bringing 3 players worth 50 million each, this team starts competing back to the Champions League. He gets Champions League money. Back to the Europa League, he gets Europa League money. If we win titles, he gets the money. What I do not know, or what I do not understand really, is why would an owner refuse to invest in a project that is already up and running, a project in which he knows if I put money here, I'm getting it for sure, for real. Because we are We are that straight as a club. You invest in us, we give you the money. As simple as that. Now, it's something that I really fail to understand. Something that I really, really fail to understand. How are you doing, Solomon? I hope you're doing really well. So, guys, this early morning, that is what I want to talk about. The Stan Kroenke, possibility to leave, and probably you have Antonio Conte going to Spurs. He was available for taking. We didn't take the opportunity. What are your thoughts on that? Make sure you smash a like on the video. Thanks everybody for watching in, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.